Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope that you all had a great day today. Let's see here. Quite a few of you guys talking already. Scroll up here. Make sure I get everyone. Good evening, Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Pippadot, Inner Peas, Gayla, Gianna Marie. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm glad you're feeling better, Purple. Now make sure you go to the top of the chat and you click on top chat. Make sure you're on top chat. Kitty Coo. All right, the bets are Kitty Coo that you're going to know everything about Anna Marie Ann Cotton. A lot of people are crossing their fingers because it doesn't look like anybody got a chance to study this or never studies. So we're all relying on Kitty Coo. Follow Kitty Coo's example. You can read the comments yourself if you want. Now, these are not that hard of questions. I mean, but you need to understand tonight is the first night of trivia, though. Everybody, listen up. The options for each and every question can be A, B, C, D, or E, meaning that any of the options that are there in the multiple choice, the right answer may not even be there. It could really be E, an other that is not presented. This is the first night that we're going to do that. Offer E as an option. E can be a comical answer. It can be whatever you want it to be, or it could be something else completely. An example. The question could be, what was Mary Ann Cotton's favorite color? And it could be, A could be white, B could be black, C could be brown, D could be green, or other, when her favorite color was actually blue. So you would answer E as the option. Well, it's not one of those of the above, so I'm going with E. Now, I'm not going to throw a whole bunch of E's in there throughout the entire thing. They're going to be more than one, but they're not going to be like 50% of them are not going to be, presented at all. I'm not going to throw a loop at anybody like that ever. I'm just saying there's going to be more than one that, where E is the actual correct answer. Okay. Good evening, Sal, Cement Shoes. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Tonight, all the trivia questions are on Mary Ann Cotton, the English serial killer mother, Mary Ann Cotton. I could find very little on her. I have a page of notes. Is all you have? Well, go with what you can find. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to use Google, open up another window and put the question into another window and ask Google or AI or whatever, to try to come up with the answer. Ask your hubby on the couch, or ask the person at the truck stop, window who's doing food and taking, payment for gas. It doesn't matter. It's not cheating if you don't consider it cheating and I don't. So again, use anything you want. Shout out the window, phone a friend. It's all good. Again, we are only playing for fun and entertainment. Don't make it harder. Nah, I'm not going to make it harder. Gayla. Now the reason I'll tell you why I'm offering E as an option, as it could be one of the possible answers. Since I added E as we used to always have A, B, C, or D. There was no E, and people just put E in and then put in a comical answer. whatever they want it to be. 144,000, referencing the book of Revelations, and the Daybell, Fallow, issue with them. It's kind of like an inside joke. But people who were watching the trivia in the aftermath, like the day later, 2 days, a week, month later, I kept on seeing comments in the comment section underneath videos. Why are people answering E? Without a comical answer, saying E when it's either A, B, C, or D. Why are they answering E? And nothing. And I'm like, well, I guess that is kind of a good point. Why are people answering, just typing in E and nothing, not even having a comical answer? So, yeah, it does make it a bit harder. But again, I'm not going to throw in, 10 of these questions are not going to be E as the answer. There's going to be more than one, but it's going to be less than 10. Okay. So it's just as an option. If you use a deductive reasoning, look, this is the ridiculousness. You'll figure it out when you see, maybe the one of the options is Pauly Shore is D. Well, you can automatically rule out Pauly Shore has anything to do with Marie Ann Cotton, in reference, because, well, she died probably about 100 years before Pauly Shore was even born. So you can rule that one out right off the bat. And maybe there's another one you can rule out. Use that deductive reasoning. All right. With that in mind, let's get tonight's trivia going. All right. If you are easily upset and don't wish to hear or learn about subject matter that can be graphic at times, please go watch something else. This is a crime channel, and we talk about real life events and tragic outcomes. If you're under the age of 16 and accessing this content because you've either pulled a fast one or you lied about your age when you set up your YouTube account, I am not responsible for that, nor should I have to control that. Nor are those who may place ads on this content responsible for you, and what you have done. With that said, there will be no ads during the actual trivia tonight, nor for the remainder of time afterwards. This entire trivia night was paid for and sponsored by one super fan. Her real name is Marsha, but you may not know her by her name. You will know her by her screen name, which she did not want to be released. With that said, she gave a generous donation to cover this, to make sure there will be no ads during or after, and that is for forever. And I don't normally take sponsorship because that would technically be a sponsorship. So in the after, not tonight while you're actually watching this, but if you watch this the day after, in the upper left-hand corner, you will see a logo that says that there is a paid advertisement in this actual stream. That is what it is. There is no commercial. I'm not pitching you a product or anything else if you're watching this after the actual live stream itself. It is a paid promotion, as in Marsha gave a donation to pay to make sure that it's covered and it would not have any ads. All right, moving on. Question number 1 is now on your screen. We have started. Again, make sure you are on top chat so you will actually see comments as they come in. Live chat. All right, question number 1. What was Mary Ann Cotton's birth name? Was it A, Mary Elizabeth Holden, B, Mary Ann Cotton, C, Mary Elizabeth Burden, or D, Mary Ann Robson, or E, other? Good evening, Cheryl. Welcome to tonight's trivia. From Salem, Massachusetts. Good evening. I hope you are doing well, Cheryl. If there's anybody else that I may have missed in the comment section, I am truly sorry. And Miss K, I see you as well. Stephen Avery. Cement shoes. Thank you for the suggestion. I will write that down on your page in the suggestion for trivia. But when you have to understand with Stephen Avery, it may be a while because, well, first off, it's hard to do something that is that new in the actual, I guess, history. But he's a whack-a-nut, Stephen Avery. Mr. Garlic Man. And Heather, good evening, Heather. Sprinkled Donut, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you were both doing well today. I am doing great, Mr. Garlic Man. I am doing great. Question number 1 of 20. What was Mary Ann Cotton's birth name? What was Mary Ann Cotton's birth name? And I'm getting myself in my little window here in the corner. Bloop, there I am. Yo. Yo, says Mr. Garlic Man. Oh, thank you, Pippadot. Yeah, if you enjoyed tonight's trivia, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I would hope if you do give it a thumbs down, you will at least leave a comment underneath this video, this stream, and tell me why didn't you enjoy the trivia night. Let me know. I can't make it any better if I don't get feedback. But just remember, if you make it nasty, it will get blocked. Thank you to everyone who said hi. To me, you turn 67 tomorrow. Well, Cheryl, let's take a moment and wish you a happy birthday. And along with that, Cheryl, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cheryl. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cheryl. All right, question number 1. The correct answer is D, as in dog. Mary Ann Robson was her birth name. Mary Ann Cotton's birth name was Mary Ann Robson. Question number 2. In the official records for Mary Ann Robson, what year was she born? Was it A, 1776, B, 1779, and good evening, be nice to anyone. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. C, 1832, D, 1845, or E, other. Smoke them if you got them. Can I believe it? It's like what, 52 days or something like that until Christmas, Mr. Garlic? I just saw that the other day. It was like 50 some days until Christmas. It seems like this year just went flying by. Left-handed RN, good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. Inner Peace, 1999. Question number 2. Gianna Marie and Mr. Garlic Man are both going with C. Sal, Pippa Dot, Purple, Sprinkle Donut, and Gail is just going with E. In the official records for Mary Ann Robson, what year was she born? This year was a wash. I mean, the last couple of months have been pretty, hard on my family. But overall, I would say that this, 2024 was a pretty good year. I mean, I can't wait for the political campaigns to be over with this week. So I don't get inundated with text messages and phone calls from, people asking me for money. But then we, regardless whoever wins, we're going to hear the next like couple of months is all going to be blame the other person, how the other person cheated, or whatever it might be. It's all going to be that. Well, this is what's going on because it's your fault because you voted for the wrong person. Or they divide and conquer. If they can keep us fighting against each other instead of seeing, that we have more in common than we have different, then it's easy for them to do other things where we're not watching. Just remember that. Pippa Dot, I'm in a dark hole. I'm moving, major move during the next 2 months. Christmas decorations. I don't know when. You're in a dark hole. I'm sorry. A major move. Sorry, Pippa Dot. I have never enjoyed moving myself. And I've done it an awful lot in my lifetime. All right, question number 2. The correct answer is C, as in cat. Mary Ann Robson was born in 1832. C, as in cat, is the correct answer for number 2. All right, question number 3. Mary Ann Cotton had a total of 13 live births, plus 1 stepson. How many of her children died under suspicious circumstances? Was it A, 6, B, 11, C, 4, D, 9, or E, other? How many of her 13 live births did she have, and how many? Well, she had 13 plus a stepson, but how many of those children survived? Kitty Q, Sal, and Gianna Marie are jumping in with B. Pippa Dot's going with B as well. 13 children. I thought I came from a big family. 13 is a lot. Does anybody else come from a larger family around that size of 13? Mr. Garlic Man, all of them. What a great mom. All of them eventually. My grandma would put up the decorations the day after Thanksgiving and take them down a week after New Year's Day. We keep a Christmas tree up at all times. It never comes down. One reason and one reason only is the Christmas tree that we have. It's a fake tree, obviously, but it takes so long to put it together because I think it has like 25 parts plus every branch. It's just so much of a problem to take it apart and put it in a box and put it away. We just leave it up and then we decorate it for different holidays. Thank God Lori Vallow didn't have that many kids, right? Mr. Garlic is an only child. You knew a guy who had 24 siblings? This is not, a dig on any one religion over another. Worship whoever you want. It doesn't matter to me at all. But all of the families I know with large, who had a large amount of children, They were either Mormon or Catholic. That's, maybe it's a coincidence. I'm sure there are Presbyterian families out there or Baptist families who had 10 or 12 kids too. All right, question number 3. Of the 13 live births that she had, plus the one stepson, how many of her children died under suspicious circumstances? The correct answer is B as in boy. 11 of the 13, plus the stepson, would be 14. 11 of the 13 live births that she had, the children died under suspicious circumstances. I want a sister. Brother, she's free to a good home. You're giving away your sister. All right. Did you know Mary Ann Cotton was questioned after the death of her third child, yet she wasn't arrested or even considered a suspect until after she killed her stepson? True. 3 children had already died under suspicious circumstances, and she wasn't even considered a suspect or have done anything wrong until after she killed her stepson. Now, they didn't charge her right away with that murder, but after he died under suspicious circumstances, then they brought her in for questioning. It wasn't until after that child died. Question number 4. Talk about getting away with murder. How many murders did Mary Ann Cotton actually get charged with and convicted of? Was it A, 1, B, 7, C, 9, D, 4, or E, other? Can I imagine having 20 children? Hell no, Mr. Garlic. Hell no. I got 2, and it's costly enough just to keep them alive and enclosed. I couldn't imagine trying to do it with 20 or 16 or 18 and counting. I could not imagine that. I mean, you got to eventually get off your damn wife, and leave her alone. They did not have DNA testing in the 1800s. No, they didn't. Sal, Pippa, Dot, and Gianna Marie are all going with A. Now that I'm all growing up and the lights are up to 365, leave them up. No, nothing wrong with that at all. Copy off a kitty coo. Duly noted. Gayla, 9. Do you have 9 children, Mr. Garlic? Or C is your answer? Heather, Sprinkled Donut, Gayla, Left-Handed RN are all going with A. Meticulous work I've always done. I just cannot do it anymore. All right, question number 4. How many murders was she actually charged with and convicted of? The correct answer is A as in apple. She was only charged and convicted of killing her stepson. Again, 11 of her children that she gave birth to died under suspicious circumstances, but yet she was only convicted and found guilty of murdering her stepson. Question number 5. Let me hear you roar. What profession did Mary Ann Cotton have that made even a mountain lion jealous? Was she A, a butcher, B, a baker, C, a candlestick maker, or D, a Jersey Shore cast member, or E, other? Oh, your answer was C. Okay. You have no wife, girlfriend, or children. All right, well, children aren't for everybody, even though a lot of people would, who would be great parents want them. Then there's people like Lori Vallow, who has children, and then they're easily discardable to her. And she did. She discarded both of her children. For what? What did Lori Vallow get in the end? For discarding her children? Well, besides a lengthy prison sentence that she's going to do, and she's acting as her own attorney in the Arizona case, she's going to get convicted there as well, which doesn't really matter because, and I understand why she's doing it to some extent, because, well, how are you going to add that to the rest of her life sentence that she has in Idaho? She'll most likely die behind prison anyways, even if she had an eligibility date of, for parole. Cemetery gravedigger, like Chad Daybell. Oh yeah, we've got a great community here, Pip and Dot. We really do. Great bunch of people here. All right, let me hear you roar. What profession did Mary Ann Cotton have that would made even a mountain lion jealous? The correct answer to question number 5 is E. E is the actual answer to this one. None of those that are on there. She wasn't a Jersey Shore cast member. She wasn't a candlestick maker, a baker, or a butcher. She was a nurse. A nurse. So E, it was the correct answer for this one. Question number 6. Although she should have been arrested years prior because of a series of mistakes, they finally came to arrest Mary Ann Cotton. When? When did they actually arrest her? Was it A, 1872, B, 1970, C, 1870, D, 1902, or E, other? Sarah Boone's getting sentenced on December 2nd. Will tricked us. Yes, Sal. In case you weren't here when we started this, E is now an option as a possible, correct answer. I'm not going to throw 10 of them, 10 E's in the trivia night. They're going to be more than one, but less than 10. More, so there might be another one. There might be 2 more. That's up to everybody to figure out. But even with that, you could make the deduction. Well, you could rule out D, that she was a Jersey Shore cast member on that question. Too late. I'd say Will. I don't like E unless it's funny. I vote we go back to the old way. Smitches, we very well may do that. It's just that I'm trying this out because a lot of people who don't watch it live and they see it day or a month later, people were putting just E and they didn't, with no funny answer to it. And they just typed in E for other. And then I got people, asking in the comments section, why are people asking, answering E, when that was back when I had A, B, C, or D, and it didn't even have the E other column. People were answering E. So it was confusing to people watching it in the hindsight. They're like, well, what the hell? Why are people answering E? And then some people are putting in E and then they're just answering, they're putting in something funny or reference to these other things. So we very well may, do away with E as an option, but I'm trying it out anyways. Left-handed RN, Sprinkled Donut, and Pippin Out are all going with A. Question number 6 of 20. The correct answer: when was Mary Ann Cotton finally arrested? She was arrested in A as an apple. She was arrested in 1872 for the murder of her stepson. She gave her stepson arsenic, and that killed him. Now, each and every one of those deaths of the 11 children at this point, I'll tell you, all died under suspicious circumstances and most likely were given arsenic and killed them. And every single one of those 11 children, that died under suspicious circumstances, Mary Ann Cotton had taken out life insurance policies on every one, including the 12th one, which would be the actual stepson himself. She had taken out life insurance policies on him, and then she poisoned the stepson and killed him. And then she was actually arrested and convicted and found guilty for the actual murder of her stepson. Question: did you know in the history books about crime, this man stands alone for not only his work, but for his forward thinking and reasoning? No, he isn't Sherlock Holmes. He is none other than Thomas Riley, the real detective who actually arrested Mary Ann Cotton. If you're a fan of history and crime and forward thinking, and moving the book forward, if as some people would say, about crime and how to solve crimes, outstanding crimes, and get conviction, Thomas Riley. You need to look that name up in the history books in solving crimes. People think of like, well, Sherlock Holmes was a good detective and he solved a lot of crimes. Well, Thomas Riley, with he was with the Greater London Police Department. Then he eventually moved on to Scotland Yard and worked on crimes there. But Thomas Riley, not very many people give him enough credit for the work that he was able to do. He worked a lot of high profile crimes, but he was the one who finally put together, that Mary Ann Cotton was poisoning her family and killing them for the insurance money. And he's the one who actually got her, arrested her and got her convicted for killing her stepson. Question number 7. In her lifetime as Mary Ann Cotton and as Mary Ann Robson, how many life insurance policies did she collect on? Was it A, 19, B, 17, C, 16, D, 15, or E, other? In her lifetime as Mary Ann Cotton and as Mary Ann Robson, how many life insurance policies did she collect on? Question number 7 of 20. Elliot Ness was a good detective too. Very much so. So was Robert Ressler with the FBI. He is the one who coined the term serial killer. Even though here in the year 2024, the term serial killer has been widely overused and does not fit the definition of that Robert Ressler from the FBI who coined the term serial killer. Most of the serial killers that people throw that name at now are not, do not match the actual definition that Robert Ressler had for a serial killer. In his mind, a serial killer killed more than 3 people and had cooling off periods in between each and every one, and that there was a certain psychosis that went along with it, according to Robert Ressler. Now, a lot of criminologists want to lower that serial killer threshold to 2 or 3 individuals with a cooling off period. Excuse me. Pippa. Big guess B. Question number 7 of 20. Heather is going with D. Kirikou, D? Question mark? I don't know. Could be D. Did Lori model her life after this woman? Should I change my mind? I don't know. They can also make it higher amount to keep the same price when they turn 21 on insurance. I used to think a serial killer was a person who ate cereal while killing when I was a kid before I knew what it was. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the question number 7. The correct answer is B. B as in boy. She collected on 17 life insurance policies. She collected on a life insurance policy for her mother, her father, 11 children, and we will learn who she collected on the additional ones on. But 17 life insurance policies is what Mary Ann Robson collected on in her lifetime as Mary Ann Cotton and Mary Ann Robson. Question number 8. Married officially 4 times. How many of Mary Ann Cotton's husbands died under questionable circumstances? Was it A, 2 of the 4, B, 1 of the 4, C, 4 out of 4, D, 0 out of 4, or E, otter, other? I bet Jeffrey Dahmer did that. Jeffrey Dahmer was a special one, wasn't he? I don't think people give Jeffrey Dahmer enough credit for just how smart and but at the same time disgusting he was. A lot of people are grossed out by the sheer things that he did, that they found out in afterlife. But there were a lot of things that Jeffrey did while he was around, and at work and in his social life outside. How did he get these victims and what did he do with them before he dispatched them? There's a lot there that a lot of people don't realize or want to think about. Kitty Q, 3, I think. Married officially 4 times. How many of Mary Ann Cotton's husbands died under questionable circumstances? Mr. Garlic going with D. Pippa. A. Inner P's, 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed. 4 out of 5 dentists prefer Trident gum. Lieutenant RN is going with A. Question number 8. The correct answer is E. Otter, other. It was, as Kitty Coo, you were correct. It was 3 out of the 4 husbands died under suspicious circumstances. 3 out of 4. E is the correct answer for question number 8. Question number 9. How many aliases did Mary Ann Cotton have in her lifetime of crime, including names she used with insurance companies? Was it A, 8, B, 7, C, 6, D, 5, or E, plotter, other? It's amazing how these women are able to get so many husbands, right? There are a lot of dumb people out there. They thought Jeffrey Dahmer killed Adam Walsh. There, let's see, Walsh, and John Walsh's son, who was kidnapped from the mall. Wasn't that Otis Toole who actually killed him? Or they believed that Otis Toole did? Good evening, Reichart, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe out there. And no Walmart employees are calling the police after you today. Inner peace. Just one. Snooky. Cement Shoes is going with A. Sal's going with A. Question number 9. How many aliases did Mary Ann Cotton have in her life of crime, including names that she used with insurance companies? All right, question number 9. The correct answer is E. Plotter other. She used 3 different last names with different first names. She used her middle name Ann, and then these following last names: Robson, Cotton, Mowbray were the 3 last names that she used to take out life insurance policies on individuals. And she collected underneath those names, those last names, but she never used Mary. All the policies were by Ann and then one of those last names, but 3 during her life of crime. And that's how insurance companies weren't able to initially catch on to her, that they were paying out in life insurance policies on these tragic deaths that kept on happening over and over again, because she used different last names to take out the policies. All right, question number 10. Oh, did you know, besides working as a nurse, housekeeper, Mary Ann Cotton also worked bookkeeping with her husband, William Mowbray, her first husband, who she would eventually kill? Did you know she worked as a nurse, a housekeeper, and as a bookkeeper, and doing accounting for her husband, William Mowbray, who she eventually killed? Question number 10. Who was the father of the stepson Mary Ann Cotton murdered and was eventually arrested and convicted of killing? Was it A, William Mowbray, B, Will I Am Pease, C, Barry Morphew, D, Frederick Cotton, or E, Welcome Back Cotta, other? The more you know. Do, do, do. Thought about actually, making a short series with that. The more you know, or how a law becomes a bill. Cement, Sal, Gianna Marie Purple, and Kitty Coo are all going with D. Mr. Garlic's going with P. Diddy. There's the Pauly Shore guest. Lemon Pie, Inner Peas, Vinnie Barbarino. From Welcome Back, Cotta. Vinny Barbarino. Hey, I'm Vinny. That's John Travolta, isn't it? Vinny Barbarino. Yeah, I think those. Yeah, yeah. Saturday Night Fever. John Travolta was Vinny Barbarino. Yes, she's good at adding up the insurance policies. E and C, welcome back, Carter. Good evening, Lemon Pie, and welcome to tonight's trivia. I was going to say hello earlier, but it went flying by. I hope you're having a great day today. John Travolta. Yeah. Marking your absent. We were just marking you absent. R. Kelly. All right, question number 10. The correct answer is D as in dog. Frederick Cotton, her very last husband, was the father of the little boy that she eventually killed and was prosecuted for and found guilty for killing. Frederick Cotton's son. Frederick Cotton's wife died. He was widowed with a small child, a young child. I think that he was like 4 or 5 when the mom died, and so he then married. He met Mary Ann Brodson, and then they married, and then she eventually killed his only child. I do not know if Frederick Cotton ever had any additional children after that, but she did kill his only son. That must have been hell. You lose your wife, you fall in love with somebody else, you marry them, and then that person ends up killing your child. That's not something you want to live through. All right, that is the first 10 questions. If you're new here, after the first 10 questions of the trivia, we take a 6-minute break. For the next 6 minutes, you do what you need to do. Go smoke a bowl, shotgun some beers, make a sandwich, use the bathroom. You do what you need to do for the next 6 minutes. And then we'll be back with corrections. And then after corrections, we go on to do the additional 10 questions. And then after that, we have a case of a missing or endangered individual from or from around the U.S. someplace. These are actual real cases of people who need help being found. But break time. Make your dinner. Go take a 3-minute shower at the truck stop. Whatever you need to do. On what platform? Every Saturday morning we also have a coffee show now called Page 2. Yes, that's every Saturday morning, Mr. Garlic. I do a live stream at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is 9 o'clock Mountain and 11 o'clock, on the East Coast of the United States. But it's a recap show of crime stories that may not have necessarily caught the attention of other creators, because they're not national news or, big stories, that people want to focus on. But up until this past Sunday, it was called Coffee Brew Crime Recap Show. But now, going forward, I've changed the name of it to reflect that I'm not focusing on the main stories that are happening. It's Page 2, like Bob Seger's, Turn the Page. But Page 2, the stories that people are not focusing on. Inner P's, I need a vacuum. I need to vacuum. Well, there you go. Inner P's went to go vacuum. Mr. Garlic Man went to use the facilities. Purple is cooking. There you go. I voted on Halloween. Oh, you mailed in your ballot on Halloween, right, Cart? Or voted in person? Well, thank you for taking part in in the election. I voted well, probably about 2 weeks ago. Now it's got at least 2 weeks ago. And Washington State everywhere is mail-in only. You made supper early, so no one bothers you. There you go. I'm being tired and lazy drinking your tea. What kind of tea are you drinking, Pippa Dot? What is it? Have a flavor? If it's or is it just like regular tea with like maybe some sugar or cream in it? You need to stay out of kitchen apron. Voted early and often, they say. Yeah. Got my bit by my cat. Oh, you got bit by your cat. Sorry. And have to go to the doctor. Anyone else been bitten by a cat? All the time. My cat bites me every morning if I don't get up and feed his fat ass. Sorry, but he is. He hasn't missed a meal since he was born. Oh, just pure sweet tea? Sweet tea, pure sweet tea is good. It looks infected. Put some antibiotic on it. I mailed my ballot in. They already sent me an email that my vote was counted already. Yeah, here in Washington State, you can actually sign up for to track your actual ballot. We have actual drop boxes, or you can mail them in with the United States Post Office, and you can sign up for a service where it actually tracks your ballot to the point where it's counted, and they send you a text alert, once it's been counted. I've never signed up for that. I dropped mine off at my county auditor's office. All right, we got a little bit more. Let's see. We've got a minute and approximately 10 seconds left. I love to put tea bags in a glass jar of water and put it in the sun all day. Make sun tea. There you go. Make sun tea all the time in the summertime. Sun tea is great. Been using antibiotic ointment. Gonna give it some time. Yeah, my cat bites my hand. If he can't get to my hand to to bite it to wake me up in the morning, which I mean I'm already up at 4 o'clock in the morning anyways. But if not, then he starts to bite. He'll like slam his stupid wet nose into my eye, or start to bite at my chin. But he always wakes me up. Just make sure you're loosen the lid, otherwise it might explode. We use the 1 gallon pickle jars. They're glass. I think you get Vlasic pickles in them. Wash them out really good, and then we use those to make sun tea in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our break. Corrections and stuff. On a recent live stream on 10/20/24, I said rumors, no member of the family. This is about the Delphi, Indiana case, in case you're wondering. Raised funds and misused the funds in any manner, then 100% of the funds were accounted for by an independent audit. What I should have said was the audit was a course of normal business by the city and the state. It was not paid for by the family nor requested by the family. Whenever matching funds from taxpayers are used for such a project like a memorial park or anything like that, there is an audit done automatically to make sure that there's no improprieties from the people who are actually giving the the matching funds. So, and likewise, there should be something like that. You don't want a park to be a memorial for a bunch of Nazis, and to find out that the Klan had put together the funds, and that's where all the money came from, or that here's $100,000 for this memorial park, but we raised 8.5 million. We're keeping the rest. They don't want something like that. That would be huge, publicity that the city and the state doesn't want. Likewise, the person on social media known as Alan D. Sleuth, or ADS, otherwise known as Michael Allen Davis, is his full name. We actually did some sleuthing and we found out who this guy Alan D. Sleuth is. That's his real name, Michael Allen Davis. He is not a family member of either one of the two girls. He has no connection that we can find to even Delphi, Indiana. But he used his vocabulary ninja skills to make people believe that he was. All right, ADS did a series of 6 different Facebook live streams, all about the Delphi, Indiana case, and the murder of Abby and Libby. And in each one of them, he never said that he was a family member or that he was helping raise money. But at the bottom of the screen, he had a link to a GoFundMe page that has been shut down since. I don't know if he ever collected the money, or if somebody reported him and they shut it down beforehand before he could collect the money. But this man obviously was using his vocabulary ninja skills to make people believe that he was connected to it. So, nor do we know, we can't figure out, because if we can't go back, even using the Wayback Machine to look at it, or the Internet Archives, we can't go back and actually pull up, because the company took down, or somebody took down the actual GoFundMe, and all it does is it links to an empty page now, even when you go back and you try to look at it. So we don't know who this guy is, but he obviously was raising money for it, and we can't say that person's connected, because it as far as we know, this person is not a member of either one of the two girls' families. So, nor did he ever say that he was. He just said he was, and had to go fund me on there. But that's an update, corrections, for this week. All right, now back to tonight's trivia. And get myself my little window here. There we go. Question number 11. Which nickname below was never a nickname given to Marianne Cotton during her lifetime, but only after her death? Was it A, Angel of Death, B, The Widow Maker, C, Mommy Dearest, D, Les Femmes London, or E, Daughter Other, and dot, 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 dot. Those are dots. That's a daughter. Good night, Sprinkled Donut. I hope you feel better soon as well. It's that time of year where people are going to start getting the seasonal flus and colds. Wheels boo boo moment. I technically was correct. I just should have made it more clear that the audit was not done or asked for by the family, and it was a normal course of business for the city and for the state for the memorial park. And if you Google the memorial park for Abby and Libby, it's a beautiful park that they've made. It will look even better next year because a lot of the plants that they planted haven't had a chance to fully mature and bloom yet. But they've done an excellent job to memorialize the entire thing. At least the two girls, I mean, not the event. E, the tweaker. Mother Teresa. Right card's going with E, daughter. Daughter. Reminds me of the song. Kitty Q's going with C and 3 question marks. B, crazy choice. Pippa. It's totally cool. I was saying that saying 3 times makes one appear. Ooh, Kitty Q's going with E, a Barry Morphew. Oh, good old Barry. What nickname below was never given to Mary Ann Cotton during her lifetime, but only after her death? Question number 11. The correct answer, it's crazy, but it's B. Crazy choice. The Widow Maker. The Widow Maker, B as in boy, is the correct answer. You have the correct answer there, Heather. And Pippa Dot. All right, question number 12. The crimes of Mary Ann Cotton forever changed 2 different fields of business after her arrest and convictions. Which ones? Was it A, law enforcement and undertaker, B, insurance and poison control, C, forensic medicine and photography, D, insurance and welfare benefits, or E, Potter, other? Question number 12 of 20. Not a slicer, not a dicer. Nope, just a Potter, other. Question number 12. Purple and Cement are both going with B. 11, Gianna Marie, Sal, and Pippa Dot are all going with B as well. Inner Peas is going with check. Motherhood. Rackheart going with B. Lemon Pie. Underwater Basket Weaver. Pippa Dot, I choose B, but could see D. Kitty Q is going with D, question mark, question mark. Mr. Garlic Man is going with Jesus Christ. Is that like the 2 fields that changed? Jesus Christ? Jesus being field number 1, Christ being field number 2? Heather's going with D. Question number 12. The correct answer is B, as in boy. Insurance and poison control. There was not a national, this is in England, Europe. There was not a poison control, like, district, or a place where you could call, or place you could reach out to, go to, and find out about poisons. But shortly after Mary Ann Cotton's actual conviction, arrest and conviction on the murder for giving arsenic to her stepson and killing him, they started to look at chemicals that you could easily buy that could cause extreme harm. And that's when they said, okay, they set up what basically was a precursor to what is now known as your poison control center. Likewise, when it came to insurance, up until around that time frame, and this really rushed in a lot of the changes, you could go out and buy insurance on anyone. The old man who's living underneath the bridge, you can go buy insurance on him. The rich man who lives in the mansion up on the hill, you could buy insurance on him. You didn't have to have their approval or their signature or anything. People could just buy insurance, life insurance, on anyone back then. And Mary Ann Cotton, all the policies she purchased, nobody knew. She didn't tell her kids, hey, you know what? I took out a life insurance policy on you. First, you're good as dead. She didn't tell them. She just did it. As long as you paid the premium, she didn't care. I mean, the insurance company didn't care. Question number 13. What year was Mary Ann Cotton executed for her crimes? Was it A, 1880, B, 1815, C, 1875, D, 1873, or E, copper tin picture? Other. This is a copper tin picture, or otherwise known as a tin picture, of Mary Ann Cotton with 5 of her children. Very few photographs of actual original photographs have been known to have ever been taken by Mary Ann Cotton, and you're gonna find out about the cost of a photo back then. Lemon Pie is going with E, 1999. Kitty Q, Cement, and Gianna Marie are all going with D. Copper tin picture is E. Other. The copper tin picture only has the things that are on E right now are only have to reference with a photo, like a plotter. There was a picture of a plotter, then of a potter, and the picture was a potter, and so on, so forth. That has nothing to do with the actual crimes. Ooh, John Marie, Red Cart, and Purple are all going with D for question number 13. Sal is going with D as well. Purple, D is. Let's see. Question number 13. Huge move to a new house. The stress is really getting to me bad. Just packing alone. Well, just remember, Pippadot, slow down, take a deep breath, relax. I don't know if you know how to meditate, but it can help a lot. And all it takes is a couple of minutes. Just close your eyes and just focus on breathing in and breathing out. Just let it go. And then you can get back to packing again. Gayla is going with D as well. You pucker. All right, question number 13. The correct answer is D. D as in dog. 1873 is when she was executed. Did you know the BBC has done more movies of the week and specials about Mary Ann Cotton and the stories based off of her crimes and life than any other network or media company? The BBC has done more about Mary Ann Cotton than anyone. Excuse me. Question number 14. How many official pictures are known to exist of Mary Ann, making new discoveries rare and highly collectible? Yeah, that's a thing. Is it A, 6, B, 4, C, 8, D, just 144,000, or E, an ink blotter? Other. And that is a picture of an ink blotter. At the end of the night, a hot bath and relax. There you go. In my lifetime, Pippadot, between the West Coast and Wisconsin and Minnesota, I have moved a total of 36 times. 36 times. Yes. And I hate every single one of them. I told my wife after we bought this place, I'm going to die in this house because I'm never moving again. The only way you're moving me now is if I'm dead. 95 duck face pics. Oh boy, am I glad they don't do those anymore, huh? Did I have help? Oh yeah, a lot of it Pippadot was when I was younger. We would come home from school some days, and it'd be like a Tuesday afternoon. Come home from school, and there'd be a U-Haul truck in the driveway, and my mom was just like, "Yeah, we're moving." It's like the second week of the month. Why are we moving? Well, I got another house. We're gonna move to that instead. My mom is she's always been bipolar, and she wasn't on medication. She should have been. But she would move us back and forth between here. And then she's like, "Oh, we're moving back home," and she'd just quit her job, and we'd move back home, and she'd get another job, and we'd be there, 3 months, 6 months, and then when she finally got on the medication, she got on with a company where she was only guaranteed to be in one place for 6 months total. So, and it was a government contractor, so she would be there, with one job site for 6 months, and then they would say, "Okay, pick up and move. We need you at this next one," and then we'd move again, and we'd move again. My senior year of high school, I attended 3 different high schools that my senior year in 2 different states. I technically graduated from 2 different high schools, 1,130 miles apart at the same time, same week. Yeah, we moved a lot. All right, question number 14. How many known photographs are there of Mary Ann? The correct answer is A as in apple, just 6. 6 original photographs. There are a handful of additional photographs that have never been confirmed to be her. There is a strong likeness of Mary Ann Cotton that it is her and it is of her husband or her children, but they've never been confirmed that they are of her. But just 6 original photographs have ever been found of Mary Ann Cotton. The most famous one is the one that I used as the profile picture for this tonight. And that photo was one that they took at the actual courthouse itself the day before her conviction. All right. Question number 15. Who wrote the most extensive and most well researched book about Mary Ann Cotton that not enough people have given proper credit to for his work? Was it A, Jeffrey Dahmer, B, David Blaine, C, David Wilson, or D, Mr. Wilson, Dennis the Menace's neighbor, or E, just other? I'm out of rhymes. Will help Mr. Garlic Man. I don't know why, but I'm about 3 minutes behind in this live stream. Click on top chat. Top chat, Mr. Garlic Man. It could also be that your internet is slow. It could be buffering, or it's barely able to keep up because of something else, the device you're on, or the internet connection itself. I don't know. I wish I could help more than that. She looks like an ex-girlfriend of mine. Nancy Drew. Who wrote the most extensive and most well-researched book about Mary Ann Cotton? Question number 15 of 20. Kitty Q, D? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Heather and Purple are going with C. Close out the video and then rejoin. That's not. I guess that could work as well if the internet on their end is working correctly. Right car's going with F. Chad Daybell. It was Chad. You hit 2 times the speed every 20 minutes. I'm drinking coffee right now. Love me some coffee. I drink way too much of it though. That's my doctor told me that. I got to cut back on the amount of caffeine. That's why I've switched to this. That is liquid death. Water. Yeah, I know. Water in a can, right? The ridiculousness of the entire thing doesn't escape me. Bottled water or canned water. I actually really like these though. This one I'm drinking tonight is Green Guillotine. Green Guillotine by Liquid Death. I like them. Wish they'd sponsor my content. Oh no, more Chad Daybell books. I'm still chugging my sweet tea. There you go, Pippa Dot. Nothing wrong with sweet tea. I like me some sweet tea too, but not at this hour. Not if I want to get any sleep tonight. I used to drink too much coffee. It was hard to cut back at first. Yeah, I drink about 36 cups of coffee a day, lemon pie. I start at about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I don't quit drinking it on a daily basis until maybe about 7 at night. 6 o'clock, 7, right in there. Sometimes depending on what time I have dinner. Chai coffee. All right, question number 15. The correct answer is C, as in cat. David Wilson. David Wilson wrote the most extensive and well-rounded and researched book on Mary Ann Cotton. David Wilson is not only a terrific author in this field, but he's a researcher by trade, is where his background is. But he went through a lot of archives to find everything in every newspaper, article, flyer, anything he could find on Mary Ann Cotton. and by far has his book, Mary Ann Cotton, is the most extensive, research and well-rounded book, and gives plenty of references. So if you want to learn more about Mary Ann Cotton, look up David Wilson on Amazon for for the book on Mary Ann Cotton. All right, question number 16. Of the three husbands that Mary Ann Cotton poisoned to death, which one suffered the most and longest? Was it A, Frederick Cotton, B, William Mowbray, C, Henry Lowsmith, D, Polly Shore, or E, other? Of the three husbands that Mary Ann Cotton poisoned to death, which one suffered the most and the longest? I really think I'm addicted to sweet tea or any teas. I mean, if you like it. I'm all caught up now. There you go, Mr. Garlic. We have an entire cabinet in my house, Pippadot, is nothing but teas. Then we have an entire drawer in our kitchen is nothing but like tea balls, the balls we put like the loose leaf teas in. My wife and my daughter, particularly them, drink a lot of tea. My mother-in-law sometimes when she comes over, she'll either drink a Diet Pepsi or she'll drink tea as well. I just make cold brew tea myself, iced tea, sun tea, and then I just put it in the refrigerator and drink it. Barney the Big Purple Dinosaur. Polly Shore and Shrine. The weasel. Wow, she did kill Cotton's son. Yes, she did. Of the three husbands Mary Ann Cotton poisoned to death, which one suffered the most and the longest? Question number 16. The correct answer is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Purple got it correct. It's B as in boy. William Mowbray. He suffered for 20 days after she poisoned him. 20 days. And I'm not gonna, you can look it up for yourself, but when someone is given a lethal dose of arsenic, they first it's like a gut wrenching pain, intestinal pain, and that's how it takes you. Is it basically kills you from the inside? It liquefies your gut, your internal organs. But he suffered for 20 days in probably the most agonizing pain that any human being should ever have to suffer through. And there was nothing they could do to save him once it got into his system. At least then. I don't know if they have anything they could do now. Maybe charcoal, make you do that and vomit it out if they catch in time. They probably have some way of saving people now, but then they didn't. But he suffered for 20 days. All right, question. Oh, did you know it's next? What could have been if it wasn't for the contract that Joan Crawford had at the time with MGM? She was in consideration to play Mary Ann Cotton, a role she wanted to play. The role was for Slight Case of Poisoning, which was written in 1971, but actually was not released until 1977 on the network on BBC. Joan tragically died of a heart attack in New York in 1977 after she released 80 pictures. Yes, Joan Crawford released 80 pictures in her lifetime, but she wanted to play Mary Ann Cotton in the movie, made for TV movie, whatever you call it, special, I guess. But it was delayed because of ongoing issues with the studio, and she was also underneath contract still with MGM, and they would not let her release her from her contract so she could make the movie. But just think if Mommy Dearest Joan Crawford was actually Joan Crawford was actually able to play Marianne Cotton. And there was slight case of poisoning. Was later made into a BBC series, like mini series with I think it's like 4 parts. But I think they may have changed the name of it. I can't recall exactly about that one. All right. Question number 17. Where was the trial and conviction of Mary Ann Cotton held? Was it A, in Durham, B, Lancaster, C, Heaton, D, West End Girls, Pet Shop Boys reference, or E, other? Where was the conviction of Mary Ann and trial of Mary Ann Cotton held? Joan Crawford was very mean to her kids in real life. Yes, she certainly was not what you consider, a very affectionate, loving mother through her entire lives. I've read about, some of the things that she did in real life. I guess, Mommy Dearest wasn't all that far from the, the tyrant that she was in real life. There's a movie called The Moor. What? That went flying by. Was it a true story? Where'd it go? Oh, there's a movie called The More You Know Moment. Stephen King book. Love me some Stephen King. Krypton. E. Any new books, Cement Shoes? You have any, recommendations for Pippadot? Where was the trial and conviction of Mary Ann Cotton held? Question number 17. The correct answer is A as in apple in Durham, England. That is where the trial and the conviction of Mary Ann Cotton took place. Durham, England. Question number 18. We know there are still direct descendants of Mary Ann Cotton in England. How many of her children survived? Is it A, 8, B, 7, C, 6, D, 5, or E, other? We know there are still direct descendants of Mary Ann Cotton in England. How many of her children survived? According to the article that I read that is reference for this question, there are through 23andMe, according to the DNA report, there are actual direct descendants. Now we're talking several generations of people who, since then, who are, alive today, who can trace their family back to Mary Ann Cotton. But how many of her children survived? And that was as of 2021, by the way. And I'm sure that they probably had children or, or had children, that are still alive. Kitty Coop, E2, question mark, question mark. Mr. Garlic Man is going with 5. Purple's going with E as well. E, Prince Harry. Sal, I don't know. E. How many of her children survived? Question number 18 of 20. Heather's going with E as well. Pippadot E? Question mark, question mark. All right. The correct answer to question number 18 is E. E is the correct answer. Other two children survived. Of the 13 live births plus her stepson, making it 14, only two survived. Two of them survived. Was stuck on 8 at first, like our Charles Manson. Neither, it doesn't say in if anybody in her family, the direct descendants, any of them are famous. It doesn't say anything about that at all. It just says that according to the DNA evidence, according to 23andMe, that two of her descending surviving children have direct ancestry that is still alive and able to be found in the greater London in England areas. So Marguerite and George, both she had no more children with, but I could be wrong. She got around. I will study this week, says Purple. All right, question number 19. What was the main poison Marianne Cotton used to kill to kill almost all of her family? Was it A, antifreeze, ethylene glycol, B, drain cleaner, which is most of the time is a citric acid base, or D, McDonald's milkshakes, mainly vanilla, or D, arsenic, or E, other. What main poison did Marianne Cotton use to kill almost all of her family? E, pineapple on pizza. I will admit that pineapple on pizza sounds like an odd combination, but I've had pineapple on pizza that actually tasted okay. Not my favorite. I wouldn't do it. Then again, I don't like most pizzas that people would eat anyways. So. Arsenic and Old Lace. We all know McDonald's milkshakes thingy is always broken. Is it the milkshake or the ice cream maker? McDonald's is always broken, or both. All right, question number 19. The correct answer is D as in dog, arsenic. Arsenic. She used to kill almost all of her family. Did you know during the time Marianne Cotton poisoned her family, anyone could walk into a pharmacy or a store and buy a bottle of arsenic? Even crazier is people actually put arsenic in health tonics and in ointments to cure all sorts of ailments, including treating sore feet and aching muscles. You could find these ointments in a pharmacy, pre bottled, and these concoctions, and some of them actually put arsenic in them on purpose because they didn't know that it would be harmful in doses that your body would store up the arsenic, and over time, and it would eventually kill you if you took it in a little at a time. But then again, people used to buy health potions, from traveling salesmen, and in pharmacies that were basically just liquor, and of course we know you could also go into a pharmacy and buy cocaine too. So cocaine and heroin. Bayer Aspirin Company used to sell heroin. True thing. People put lye in bagels. Ew. Really? JDR is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, JDR. I hope you're doing well. When purple is allergic to pineapple. Well, that's a good reason to stay away from it then. I'm not a big fan of it, the flavor of pineapple myself, but it's okay on some things. I've had a really good upside down pineapple cake once. All right. How much did the photo cost in 1870 in England, not in the United States? This actual photo. This is the photo that was taken the day before her actual conviction. How much did this photo cost? Was it A, 25 cents, B, 99 cents, C, $2.35, D, $1.14, or E, other? You like thin crust pizza? There's some really good thin crust pizzas out there. I like a thin crust pizza, as long as it's been cooked, properly. Got a little bit of like char to the bottom of it. I don't like was it like Pizza Hut and some of these other franchises? They basically make like a saltine cracker, like thin pizza. It's got no pull to it at all. It's just like, ugh. It's like they take a small pizza and they just stretch it out. Kirikou E, 4 cents. No idea. Lemon pie E, 1 shilling 3 pence. How much did this actual photo cost? And no, she did not pay for this photo. This photo was taken by the court, or paid for by the court. But how much did this photo cost in 1870? You know, in England, not in the United States. And we know her conviction was, later on, but this photo was taken. What did it cost in the 1870s? 1870, 71, 72, 73, 74, 5, all the way to 79. How much did this photo cost? In England, not in the United States. 1 peso, says Mr. Garlic. 1 peso. Speaking of pesos, it reminds me. I keep all the pocket change that I get throughout the day, week, month, whatever, and I throw it in this piggy bank, behind me on the shelf for my son. And if every once in a while I take it down to the bank and I dump it into like this coin counter thing, and it automatically gets deposited into my son's savings account. In there, the last time I took it down, I had 2 coins that were 50 peso coins from Mexico that were 1961, 62. And according to what I learned online, first off, they're almost the exact same size as a nickel, as a U.S. nickel. They're almost the exact same size as that, except for they have the edges, the edge is kind of like a quarter. But anyways, according to what I learned online, is both of those peso coins. I mean, the exchange rate, 50 pesos to a United States currency is, not that great, but they're worth a hell of a lot more melted down because they're 100% silver. In the 1960s, 1961, I think they are, but they were 100% silver coins then. But somebody probably spent them just as nickels. Don't know where they came from, and I don't remember ever getting them, but I got them. I have a coin collection I started with my daughter and now my son. The peso is way lower in value to the US dollar, way lower. Yeah. I have a lot of friends who have retired and moved on to Mexico because their retirement benefits down there, can go much, much farther. So they call them expats. in Mexico. All right. How much did this photo cost in the 1870s? The answer is A as in apple, approximately 25 cents in England at the time. In the U.S., the actual photo that like this that was taken in say 1800s, 1870 through 70 through 1879, in that same time frame, the same photo would have cost about 14 to 19 cents in the United States for a court to have the photo taken of an actual inmate. But 25 cents in England is what the average cost was. All right, that is all 20 questions. Now, this is completely optional if you're new here. And for those who have been here before, you do not have to give yourself a letter grade based on how many answers you got correct. We are only playing for fun and for entertainment. No one is better at this than anyone else. You can use, again, like I encourage you, use Google, use phone a friend, reach out and grab your hubby on the couch or talk to the lady at the truck stop, whatever you need to come up with the answer. This is just optional. You want to give yourself a letter grade, you can. All right, of the 20 questions on tonight's trivia, how many did I know before putting this together? I knew exactly 7. I would have gotten 7 of the 20 questions correct. That would have gotten me a C if I was to give myself a letter grade. It would be worth $6.02 in today's money. England doesn't have cents. I thought it was a trick question. You know what I mean, though. Pence, whatever. Heather would have gotten a B. There you go. I have fun. That's all that matters. All right. Moving on to the help solve a cold case. You may think you don't know much, but you may have seen something that could help bring closure to a family of this missing person that I'm profiling tonight. Again, it goes without saying, I am working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NamUs, the Charlie Project, along with the FBI. I am not paid to do this at all. And if you want to click on any of the links there's one for the FBI for wanted and missing and kidnapped individuals, NamUs, people who have been found but they don't know who they are. That's what NamUs is all about. The Charlie Project, you can search by geographic location or by alphabetical, or just look at more recent cases that have been updated. And of course, missing and exploited children. Center for children who have either gone missing in one way or another, either parental interference, and one parent took them and they skipped out of the state or wherever, or they just disappeared and nobody knows where they are. Again, should go without saying that I am not being paid to do this. I am doing this only to bring awareness to the actual cases. And with that said, tonight's missing case is Kimberly Sue Doss. Date of birth was 2/12 of 1966. She vanished 3/20 of 1980. She was last officially seen in Davenport, Iowa. Height 5'2", weight 120 to 130 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Kimberly Sue Doss missing case is a strange one that highlights the errors that can happen in missing person cases. On 3/20 in 1980, Kimberly's mother was contacted by Kimberly to let her know that she was moving back to Texas to live with her. She informed her that she had purchased a Greyhound bus ticket for the following day. First, though, she is going to be staying over in Chicago with another lady who she had met, who was traveling the same direction. Safer to travel together than alone. Kimberly never made it on the bus, nor did this other lady. Kimberly's mother tried several times to report her missing. However, the state police in Iowa wouldn't take the report telling her that telling her the mother that she wasn't a resident of the state and she needed to file a report in Texas. The state of Texas wouldn't likewise take a missing persons report because Kimberly was a resident of Ohio. Both states should have taken the report, but did do so in error. Regardless, Kimberly has not been seen since then, and it gets even stranger though, and even more errors happened in this case. In 1980, 1981, and in 1982, a homeless woman in California started using Kimberly's name and her social security number to get welfare benefits and other services. It wasn't until she was arrested, this lady, for prostitution that the family of Kimberly was notified. This lady, who wasn't the woman Kimberly met and was going to stay with in Chicago either, would eventually move to Minnesota, Boston, and rack up even more arrests and fines underneath Kimberly's name. Every time this lady got into trouble, she would just bust out Kimberly Doss's name over and over again. Here's the strange part. Because this lady, Miss Jones, that's her actual last name is Jones, was using Kimberly's name and her social security number, Kimberly's missing person case was closed, reopened again, closed again over a dozen times since her disappearance in 1980, effectively stopping any search. She was going to be profiled on America's Most Wanted, for a missing persons case, but the TV show with John Walsh at the time was notified that the case had been solved and had been closed. This case almost made it onto the national news for someone to actually put eyes on. Again, the areas of the U.S. that she may have been last seen in, and people should pay attention to is Chicago, Davenport, Iowa, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and Oklahoma. Possibly a sighting happened in Oklahoma, just over the border between Oklahoma and Texas, but that's an unconfirmed report. Look at the photos that are on your screen. The photo to the far right is an age-progressed photo of what she would look like at the age of 56 in 2024. If you know anything about, Kimberly Doss and what may have happened to her in either Chicago, Davenport, Iowa, wherever, whatever may have happened to her, you can either contact your local law enforcement agency, state patrol, sheriff's department, anyone can take a tip on this case. It is a national-wide, all points bulletin, and be on the lookout, information. And I mean every single law enforcement agency out there should know about the Kimberly Doss case, because they vastly screwed this up and have left this family in limbo for all these years. Or you can reach out to the Davenport, Iowa PD at 563-326-7779, with a tip if you know anything at all. The far left photo is a photo from her school identification from when she was in school. And the other ones are just her in the summertime and other parts of the year. You can tell by the second to the right photo, her hair does get lighter, obviously in the summertime, in the sunlight. But the age and progressed photo is all the way to the right. She could be out there today. She could, have been murdered in 1980. Nobody knows what happened to Kimberly Doss. And her family has not given up hope, and they to this day, they still put up missing flyer posters for her in the Davenport area and in the other areas where she may have been, Chicago, and other places looking for information. No one has given up on Kimberly Dawson trying to find out what happened to her. And that is it for tonight's trivia. I hope that everyone had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down and leave me a comment, down below or here on the live stream while I'm still alive, and tell me what could I have done to make it better, more enjoyable for you. Can't make it better if I don't know what was wrong. There have been, in the Kimberly Doss case, there, unfortunately, over the years, the family has resourced, and they've pulled out all the stops trying to find out what happened to Kimberly. She was a friend. She was, loved by everyone who knew her. She had a great heart, and her mother just decided to move, from Iowa to Texas, because of a better chance at a better life. And Kimberly originally decided she was going to stay behind and make a go of it herself. But then when she reached out to her mother to tell her that she was going to move to Texas to live with her, and then she disappeared. And I mean, if you've never lived through, something like that, it's hard to even understand the amount of pain that her mother, the rest of her family has gone through after all these years. Yeah, you never know, who's going to be standing next to you next, and you never know who's going to be knocking at your door next. Remember that. No truer words have ever been said, Purple. You have a great night, Heather, and thank you for being here with us tonight for trivia night. Is Cement's shoes still here? Or did Cement take off? Cement, I was gonna read you a trivia question for Robert Durst. I finally got them all typed up. Juicy Jules. Texas is not safe or Texas is wild. Yeah, I want to hear a trivia question about Robert Durst. I got 36 trivia questions, but I'll read you guys one. Does anybody know who Robert Durst's friend was found dead in 2000, leading to suspicion about his involvement? Does anybody know who that friend is? Which close friend of Robert Durst was found dead in 2000, leading to suspicion that he was involved in the actual death? I read you a trivia question about Robert Durst. You gave the suggestion yesterday in the morning stream about Robert Durst, and I finally got them all typed up, this morning. Yeah, so the question I read was, what is it? Which one did I pick? Oh yeah. What friend of Robert Durst was found dead in 2000, the year 2000, leading to the suspicion of his involvement? Do you know the answer to that one in Cement Shoes? What close friend of Robert Durst was found dead in 2000, leading to the suspicion of his involvement? Susan Berman. Correct. Cement Shoes. Cement Shoes for the win on the Robert Durst trivia question. We have everything that I do, I do like this. I write them down and on longhand, and then I type them up and print them out, and then I actually turn them into trivia. Like we had tonight. I go through and every single one of the questions, and I make sure I have verifiable sources for each and every one. At least I try to find at least three, but that's how close. One more step, and then Robert Durst trivia could be next. I mean, I don't think it's going to be next weekend, but it is coming up. It's getting closer. In the year 2000. Correct, Kitty Q. Susan Berman was found dead in the year 2000, leading to the suspicion that Robert Durst had involvement in her murder. Will, this Durst trivia is going to be a blast. It's coming up, Pippadot. It's coming up. I've got like right now, I think I'm working on 6 different ones right now. But this will it's definitely coming up. It's been suggested by quite a few people. I think I counted 9 the other day that in a little the little black book. I write down all the suggestions in here, for that people have given. Cement Shoes. Y'all should be thanking Cement Shoes. Cement Shoe comes up with some great ideas for trivia. And Ma Barker was another one underneath Mobsters yesterday. But Cement Shoes has his own page in here. And I really do. I take every one of these seriously. And I try to do them, the ones that, Ken McElroy, Sarah Boone. Didn't we say Sarah Boone's sentencing is coming up? Stephen Avery, Ezra McCandle. I can talk. Apparently not all that great right now, but Will's little black book, yeah, right. It's not filled with phone numbers or anything like that, but I do have a little black book. I'll give you a reference just how big this is. There's a Bic lighter. Bic lighter compared to the size of the book. But I write them down. I've got other things in here too. People have given me ideas, suggestions for videos, other series. Yes, McCandless. For some reason, Pippadot, sometimes I see something, I'm like, well, maybe get all tongue-tied. Let's do crime trivia on Armchair Detective. Oh, inner peace. Where should we start with that one? Trivia night on the 10,000 lies told by, AD. We'd be here all night, all week. Top 100, lies, that or cons that AD pulled to get people to give them, him money. Where would we even start with that? The Mendez brothers, Gianna Marie. Let's see if I have them in here. I have them in here. They're on page 3, but I'll put your name next to it as well. Gianna Marie. So Gianna Marie has suggested the Menendez brothers. So has Tiffany and I just lost a page. And Sigonel. The Poisoner song 2014 album. Pretty music for pretty people. Pretty music for pretty people. AD's and Invisible Shadows. I still have both of those reports. I sent that video off to 2 different companies that neither one of them knew that the other one had it. And I asked them to do a video analysis of the actual video from the driveway. And both of them independently came up with the same exact answer. And then in the report, it has like little pictures, of it explains exactly how and what is being seen there. And I offered it to him for free back then. And all he did was, well, they blocked me. That was first. And then they harassed me. And then he turned his freaking minions on me. For what? For trying to help him? And that's when I truly realized, I mean, I kind of had the idea beforehand. A lot of the people who are out here who are reporting on, crimes that are happening right now in the media, it's all about views and making that quick buck. Make that money now and strike while the iron's hot, and rake in as much as you can and then go on to the next story and the next one. But you don't have to verify anything. You don't even have to tell the truth. Just make it up and keep people engaged. That's all they want. OJ, The Dead Milkman. Which album is it on, Kitty Coo? I've seen the Dead Milkman twice in concert. I saw them on the Bleeza Bubba tour and Paisley. I saw them on both of those tours. The Dead Milkman. I've personally always been more fond of Punk Rock Girl. Me and You, Punk Rock Girl. Dance around the world like Minnie Pearl. Me and You, Punk Rock Girl. Earl. He was a daredevil. Keep your hands and arms inside the ride at all times. OJ Simpson, now that he's dead. Does anybody think that they're ever going to release the audio tapes of the interviews that he had? In case you're not familiar with OJ, leading up to his book, If I Did It, he did a series of 6 sit-down interviews with the person who actually helped him write put the book together, where he basically talked through all the things that are in the book. But all of those audio tapes have never been released. I want to know if they really, if they ever are going to release them, and if in those audio tapes, if OJ actually admitted to killing, his ex-wife, Nicole and her friend Ron Goldman. Oh, I'm page off. Sorry. OJ Simpson. The Dead Milkmen, the Poisoner song, 2014 album, Kitty Q. That's cool. Do I have any? I don't think I have any cassettes of the Dead Milkmen. I definitely have albums. Yeah. I know between me and my wife, we probably have just about everything that the Dead Milkmen ever did. Last time I saw the Dead Milkmen in concert, I saw them in the historic downtown Minneapolis at the 1st Street, 7th Street entry bar. If you ever want to see one of the original, still surviving, meccas of live music venues, downtown Minneapolis, it's directly across the street out the door of the Greyhound Amtrak station in downtown Minneapolis. Well, I mean, Greyhound station, not Amtrak, just Greyhound. But they have stars on the wall, like painted on the wall of the building, the 7th Street entry side, of all the different bands that have played there. Everything from like Iggy Pop to the Dead Milkmen, but it was on the corner of 1st and 7th. That's why there was like one side of it was held like more larger musical bands that were touring, and on the other side you could go see like Husker Du, Bob Mould by himself. Later on, I saw Prince play there with Abalonia for there in the punk bar. That was a wild thing. You could have heard a freaking cricket in there that night. There were probably 50, 60 people just standing there like shocked. We're there for a punk show, for punk rock music, and Prince with Abalonia, and everything they had was purple. He was a trip. My mom thought his son did it way back in 1994 when it first happened. If they ever do release it, it'd be so many years. You love the Dead Milkman, Kitty Q? Sid and Nancy crime trivia. Cement Shoes, I really have kicked around the idea of doing, another music trivia, on that, like Sid and Nancy would definitely fit into that, but I mean, I can't play music anymore. That would just get me shut down. The gone are the days of doing that, and you can't do it even on Patreon anymore. Patreon is pretty much putting into it. Some people still, there are backdoor ways of getting around it. I don't need people to tell me. I know how to do it. But for about the first 6 years of doing this, on YouTube, I play kind of loosely with the rules, and I try to play within them now, especially since this is my livelihood and this is what I do. I don't work anymore besides this. This is my full-time job. But I've really kicked around the idea of doing, at least doing a trivia night, based on music, or crimes that are related to the actual music industry, something along those lines again. And Sid and Nancy would definitely fit in that. Sid Vicious definitely was a hoot. Before and after his time with the Sex Pistols. Who he son. I'm an old school punk skater chick, sister of music, love it all. That's cool, Kitty Coo. There's some great music been released over the years. Over the years. Let's see, when I was younger, I used to listen to a lot of Agent Orange, Sig Sputnik. That was in the '80s. It was more, sim pop, but the Sig Sputnik started off originally as a punk band, but they definitely did like a 180 in the '80s because synth pop was coming out, and it was easier for them to sell music that way, make money. I started off with the Replacements. The Replacements were made pretty much my jive until they "You Be Me, I'll Be You" crap, and they actually gave us a T-shirt I still have to this day that says "I was robbed $40 by the Replacements." The concert, we talk about a change. They went from "We've Got Drugs in Our School" to "Dope Smoking Moron." From songs like that to "I'll be you, you be me." It's like Husker Du, uh, Land Speed Record. There's some great ones over the years. Dead Milkman, definitely in there. What? By the time when I was listening to Dead Milkman, I was also listening to Mojo Nixon around that time. What about streaming on Twitch? I just shut down Twitch. Cement shoes. I had Twitch for 4 years, and a lot of times it was like, and when I first started off, I mean, geez, I had quite a few people. But the part that where it gets you, you can stream it, use any platform. You can use Patreon, you can use whatever but you have to have some place that's going to host it. And if I do it, I would have to send out a link or give a link away for people to come to Twitch because nobody knew that I was there on Twitch. But like I said, when I first started off, I mean, it was like gangbusters. I had lots of people who were following, were taking part in the Twitch, and just like Discord, same thing. But I couldn't get the traffic to move from one to the other. And I don't want to, do a presence where, I'm streaming on one platform and you can't find it because you're on YouTube. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun doing the music. I really did. Billy Idol, Vital Idol, looked like a punk rocker, but wasn't. But his music was, still is. Colorado too well. I like the theories that this was Rockets Gates and their dealer who was responsible for Nancy's sponging. Rumble. I've been asked. I've been, quite a few times, Kitty Q. I was asked to join Rumble when Rumble was just starting up. They really wanted it, those more edgy, content creators. They still do to a large extent. I'm on Twitch, but nobody there to communicate with or with you. 5 people. Chat still going? Yeah, I'm here for now. Go to Rumble. I've been asked. There's quite a few little startups that are like Rumble, where that have tried to get different creators to to move to their platforms. Oh, don't know at this point. Maybe it'll happen. I mean, I gotta check it out again. I don't ever go over to Rumble to watch anything. I can't think of anybody who's on Rumble exclusively that I would want to watch. Even the edgier, like more controversial, if you want to call them edgy, creators that I do follow, they're still on YouTube. They don't stream to public. You have to know the stream key to actually click on to be able to watch their content. Well, Rumble has such a huge broadcast. Royal Rumble says Rycart, the WWE. Yeah, WWE wrestling. Never got into wrestling. Teach their own, right? I mean, I've always enjoyed cage fighting. I've met a couple professionals, cage fighters. Chuck Liddell, he's probably the most famous one that I've met. He actually married my sister's husband's sister. And don't ask, that's what's whatever the relationship is. My sister's husband, his sister got married in a cage by Chuck Liddell, who is an ordained minister. And I actually got to meet him. You love watermelon? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia night there. Again, if you keep an eye on the community tab this week, probably Tuesday, I'll let everybody know on Tuesday what, I'd like to say Monday, but I've got so much going on Monday, tomorrow. But on Tuesday, I'll let everybody know what the upcoming trivia is for next Sunday. So you'll have 5 days to or whatever to research it, read up on it, take notes, whatever. But I'll let everybody know by Tuesday, probably about 10 o'clock in the morning. If you go to my YouTube channel, click on community post in a community, if you pull it up, there's a community tab right there, and you can click on it. You can find out what the trivia night's going to be. But in the meantime, everyone, thank you again for being here, and I really hope that everyone has a terrific week ahead. Pippadot, please relax. Take a moment in between it. Don't overexert yourself, emotionally or physically while you're packing. I know it's you want to just get the job done, but think about the long term for your mental health and your physical health. Okay. The lemon pie and anybody else out there, purple. If you're not feeling well, I hope you all take care and you get well soon. In the meantime, everyone, have a great week. We'll see you again soon. Bye.